Hi, Jolyn. How are you today? Can you hear and see okay? Oh, there we go. Looks like you should be connected now. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm,
How's your voice
I'm
feeling?
what?
How's your voice feeling today?
Good. Really
Good. I'm
good.
glad to hear it. Yeah,
So
it's
where?
been a funky season. I like a lot of people have been getting sick the last few weeks, so I'm
Yeah,
glad you're feeling good. Like your voice is
yeah.
feeling fresh.
Where are you moving to?
It's just a little bit north. So it's not like downtown Mass Ave. It's like if you go east on Mass Ave. So about like 30th Street in Mass Ave. So it's not much far north from where we were before. It's like
Uh-huh.
10 minutes north of there. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
found
saw
a
something
house
on.
that he just like was he was like, "You want to go see this tomorrow?" And I was like, "Okay." And then we saw it, and he was like, "What'd you think?" And I was like, "I like it." And he was like, "I think I fell in love." And then the next day, he like was trying to like work on getting the loan and everything, and it moved really fast. So, um, and I don't know,
Oh,
like I feel like it couldn't have really gone better because it happened really quickly and they had already knocked off 40K from their original asking price, and then we ended up
uh-huh.
getting it for 10K less than that. And then when after the inspection, they actually our realtor sent them the list and they agreed to fix everything. So,
Good.
like, they were
Good.
like, here's what the inspection showed. Can you fix
Oh,
those things?
great.
And they were like, we'll fix it all. And then we like went back and forth a tiny bit. They dropped off 2K more after that. And then we just fixed the garage door was the only difference because it was broken. So after that, they like were like, yeah, we'll fix it all. But then um, it just like was a funky thing. They ended up having us pay 2K less, and then we just ended up fixing the garage door ourselves. So, so yeah, it was pretty quick of a turnaround. So
It's going to give you lots more room.
yeah, yeah, that was the main thing is that we had it just wasn't a whole lot of space. We had two bedrooms, but both of us work from home, so
Yeah.
it was kind of tough. We're kind of on top of each other, and with the baby coming, my husband was like, "This is not enough room." So, so yeah, it'll be a lot more space was the main
Oh,
appeal
cool.
of
That's
of moving. So,
wonderful.
and I don't know. I moved quite a bit when I was growing up, but my husband lived in the same house all growing up, and so um, I think that's something that's important to him is having a location that's like a place for our kid to grow up,
Mhm. Yeah.
so so that to him he was like, I want them to have like a really nice home that they can have as their growing up home. So
Uh-huh.
that was his thought as well. But mainly just having a baby. I was like, babies don't need a ton of space. We'll be fine. We'll figure it out. And he was like, oh no, we gotta get a crib. We gotta get a changing table. Where are we gonna put them all? So
Yeah. Yeah. And you're due in May, right?
yes.
Do you have a lot of changes you need to make it to the house before then?
So the house actually they had um kind of flipped it. So they had already it's an older home, but they redid like all the electrical and piping and
Good.
things before. So they had done a really big renovation push on it prior because they flipped the house. And then so the main big thing that we're doing is it was just a detached garage, but we are transforming it at the moment into a like professional level recording studio space. So the hardest thing was they had to like gut the whole thing first and then put in like brand new electrical and all the soundproofing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first thing that had to be done. So it's a lot more insulation, and they put like these rubber things in as well, and so they create a soundproof environment first, um, and then we had to have people come in and like redo all the drywall beyond that. And then we had HVAC put in as well, and then now they're just like painting now. So it's almost done, but it's not quite
Very
there.
cool.
And then the floor, I think we're just gonna leave as concrete for right now, and then just like we'll have to put down rugs for the sound. But um, so yeah, that's now it's just the like finishing touches. But the hard thing was getting all the everything else like pulled out from before, and then they had to like from the bare bones start over with brand new electrical that would be able to handle like
Hmm.
all the equipment for recording, and then putting in all the soundproofing takes takes quite a lot. We ran
Hmm.
out of materials for that, so we had to like they started it and then they had to order more and then finish that out. So it took a little bit longer than my husband had hoped, but now it's just like the finishing stuff. They're like when I went out, they were painting the primer on the walls, so it's almost there. So, but it,
How
it should be
exciting.
really nice. So that's like a really big, gift to me that my husband's doing.
Mhm.
So it
That's
should be a really great space and should, I mean, like be fully soundproofed and really nice. And then there isn't a bathroom in the garage, but if you just walk across the driveway and you go in the back door, there's a bathroom like right inside the door. So it's like it's fine.
yeah, good
um,
enough. Yeah.
yeah, people can just like walk across the driveway and there's a bathroom right inside. Um,
Yeah.
so
And do
that's
you
the
have to
only
keep
thing
a
that it
yard
won't
for the
have.
dogs?
They're good. Yeah. Yeah. So they have a like their own space that we're kind of setting up for them. Our so our room is kind of a weird room. It's pretty big, but it has these like turrets in them. So like
Okay.
these like big rounded turrets. So we're turning one of them into the baby space and then one of them into the dog space. So it's like they have a small room that's kind of attached to ours, especially because the doctor kind of like strongly encourages that first year to have the baby sleep in the same room as you.
Yeah.
So it feels kind of like we have our own space because it's kind of like
Uh-huh.
we have a room, but then there are these two big turrets that are attached. So the baby will like technically be in the same room, but it'll
Okay.
feel like it has its own little
Mhm.
area. Um, my closet is so big that I was like, it could just be the baby room. I was
My
like, well, that's nice.
yeah, my son's room when he was 2 to 4 was a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big closet. I was like, oh wow, we could just put the baby in here, like the crib, the changing table, everything could fit in there. I was like,
Yeah.
this could just be the baby room. Um,
Cool. And then the yard, did the dogs have room for the to run in the yard?
yeah, yeah. So the front yard has we'll probably redo it at some point just because it's really old, but it has a small fenced in like garden area in the front. And there's a jacuzzi, but we're not sure like it's not functional. The guy told us that the pump was broken on it. So we'll have to have someone come look at it. But there is a little jacuzzi in the front. We just it doesn't work at the moment. So there's a little garden area that's fenced in. So I have the two little bitty dogs, so that's perfect for them. And then we actually have a really big backyard that's like a big field and has some big trees in it that
Oh,
our
good.
puppy likes to run all over. And there's like a little creek by the side of the house with a little bridge that goes to the neighbor's house.
Oh,
And then
wonderful.
behind ours is this really big church that has a big field of their own as well and a community center space. And so they're like, you can just go from our backyard into their field as well, and there are like big ponds in their field. So far we just stay in our yard, but I'm like we could go like wander around in their field as well. So there's
Uh,
quite a bit of space for the puppy to just like go zoom around in the yard.
yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Oh,
so if I just want them to like, go potty real quick, I can be like, let's go to the garden in the front
uh-huh.
and just it's fenced in, or if I want the little ones to just get to sniff around a little bit, they can go out there. But for Toji, he needs a little more space. So we'll like go in the back and kick a soccer ball and he'll chase it and he just zooms
Uh-huh.
around the yard.
Good
So yeah,
deal.
I think it'll be good. My husband eventually he was like, someday I'd love to put a pool in because he grew up with a pool and a tree house and stuff. So he like, wants to make it like very similar to what he grew up with. And it's kind of a quirky house because it's an older house. Like it's very odd, but it's pretty fun. It has like built-in shelving and like little nooks and crannies and like just quirky little historic kind of things. The first floor is almost like a one bedroom apartment that they think was the original structure from like the 30s or 40s when it was first built. And the
Mhm.
ceiling is really cool. It has like flower designs and things on it. It's really interesting. So that one is a little bit more historic and a lot of like the original stuff there. And then they sort of like pole barn style built a house around that one. So there's like a breezeway around that. And then there are two floors above it that are almost like a separate kind of home. It's almost like a multi-generational, like you could have like my husband even said he was like, "Oh, your grandparents, like if they ever need help, they could move into the first floor because it's like basically like an apartment there." And then the top floor is kind of like a one bedroom apartment as well. Which is where we're living. My husband's using the first floor bedroom for his office. And then for now, because we just don't need as much space, the second floor is four bedrooms and two bathrooms and a laundry room. So we actually just got renters to like rent some bedrooms on the first floor because or second
Oh,
floor because we were like we're not going to use all that space. So we're using like
uh-huh.
the third floor and the first floor and then they can like go use the kitchen on the first floor as well because we're not using that kitchen because we're like we have another one but then he's using the first floor bedroom for his office and then that
Uh-huh.
bathroom will be where my students can go from the music studio. So right now it's like sprawling, it's huge, but we also like honestly like the price and everything we got was really good. And like I showed my little sister who lives in Nashville, Tennessee, um, the house, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, we could never afford a house like that in Nashville," because technically it's five bedroom or six bedrooms and
And three
like
baths?
four bathrooms. So
Or
it's
okay.
pretty big. It's but
Very
it's
cool.
like very historic and like everything's old and but then they like redid everything. The top two floors, it's like a brand new house. Like everything's brand new. They even reframed the entire second floor. He like reframed the entire floor with the bedrooms and bathrooms and laundry area and everything. So yeah, it was like it worked out really well, but they got it like really inexpensively. So I mean, they made a good profit on the flip, but it's definitely the biggest house in the neighborhood, but there are also a lot of new builds and other renovation properties too. So yeah, it's kind of like an older neighborhood that's kind of like up and coming at the same time. So it's called Brightwood, I guess is the neighborhood. And so my husband, he jokes, he calls it Brightwood Castle because it has the little turrets. It kind of, and I said it looked like a like Snow White house or something because it's like blue and red. So I was like, oh, it looks like a princess house. And then inside is all like light blue and white. So I was like, inside looks like Cinderella lives here.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so yeah, one day I was watching a show where they had eight kids and I like joked and was like, "Do you want eight kids?" And he was like, "I mean, now we have the room. We can do it
That's
if you want." He was like, "We have somewhere to put them now."
right.
So, yeah. So he was like, "Well, now, we can have as many as we can pop out." So I don't think we'll have eight kids. I was teasing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's very quirky, but I think we enjoy that, like all the little quirky, unique elements of the house. Um,
Mhm.
it needs like little projects here and there, but it's, not like huge stuff. The duplex we lived in before needed a lot of work. When my husband moved in, he actually himself like had to redo all the plumbing and electrical and the roof and like a
Uh-huh.
ton of stuff right off the bat. And then every year he does like one project on the duplex. So he like redid our kitchen and a bathroom on the other side and he so like, he chips away at it. So he was like, yeah, now I'll have to like switch off years. I'll do a project here and a project there. So back and forth. So we still technically have the duplex, but we just got a renter for our side. So he seems like a nice guy. He was very excited to be moving in. He lived in Fountain Square before, and I guess his rent just like went way up, and he was like, "I need a new place." So
Yeah.
he's very sweet, and he has a really nice dog, and um, I think he works in marketing. So yeah, so he's moving in there, and we're getting moved over here. So yeah, lots of changes in a
Mhm.
like scurrying, quick fashion.
Yeah.
My husband
So
was
that's
like, "Wow, moving is so much work," but I was like, I was lucky he hired a couple guys to help move and like got a truck and everything. So I was like, I won't be able to help move any of the big stuff. I'm like, I can help like unbox things and put them on shelves. So with being as big as I'm getting now. So, oh, I think we had a little buffery moment. I'm hoping that clears up here because
if
it
you
was
hear me
all.
or not.
Yeah, yeah, we just had a little
There you go.
buffering moment. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it froze up for a second. But yeah,
I
so
can
lots
still
of
hear you.
changes, but good stuff. And it's a lot of work moving, but it'll be worth it in the end. And fortunately, it's February, so we have a little bit before the baby gets here to get everything organized and put together for then. And so it should be really good. And I actually I know it probably seems like a weird time, but I've had two interviews and I have another this week. It's like different layers, but for a virtual school, an online school that's like an international middle school and high school. They want like more music electives teachers. So I might. I'm like,
Oh,
I was like, it's kind of like a perfect fit, but I'm also like, I'm about to have a baby and we're moving, and so, so
yeah.
lots of little changes, but I, uh,
Yeah.
I had done things like it in the past, and then I just haven't for like a year and a half because the um, company that I was teaching through virtually like that in schools previously, unfortunately, shut down. It was a startup, and the founder unfortunately passed away. So they closed it. But this would be actually working for the school itself. So yeah. So we'll see. I have to teach a like fake class to a couple of their teachers. So this week I'm preparing a lesson on rhythm. So should be
Cool.
fun, like music theory, rhythms, and things. So
Yeah.
we'll see. So a lot of changes at the moment.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah. How are you? So what are you up to with your ladies singing group? And I know the theater changes are in full swing now with kind of like reforming that entity. So looking ahead, what all are you going to be kind of working towards this year? And how do you feel like what helps you best right now?
Hmm. Well, I'm singing with the women's group on Friday mornings.
Yes.
I'm loving that.
Love it.
And that will continue until May. We take
Excellent.
the summer
Okay.
off.
Okay,
Uh,
you have seasons. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, to give
yeah, we take the
people a
summer
little
off.
break in the summertime
Yeah.
and they can
Um,
travel and see family and enjoy the
yeah.
weather.
And so I'm trying to do like the first 4 months of this year, trying to dedicate it to
Yeah.
one, getting my finances in order and, on top of everything,
Yeah.
and doing some artwork.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
not doing any
You
audition.
mentioned wanting to do more of your art this year.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
hopefully waiting and doing some auditions and stuff in June, May, June or so
Sure. Oh, that makes
there.
sense because you
Trying
have
to,
your break from the women's group, so that's a perfect time to be
mhm,
auditioning and doing shows. Perfect. I
yeah.
love
So
that.
we'll just see from that point on how
Yeah.
things go.
Are you still
So
teaching your art classes?
no, haven't
Oh,
moved to
okay.
that. And if I do start doing some teaching, it'll probably just be online classes, just myself instead of
Ah,
doing
okay. Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Yeah. Nice.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Very
So
cool. Yeah, I
we'll
think you
see
had
how
said
that
you were
goes.
at Garfield Park. They do
Hmm.
like community classes there. And I know like the
Yeah,
Monon Center up
yeah.
north does community classes out of their center. And so there are some places. There's like what is it? There's like an arts park, like facility. There's like this cool arts park that has sculptures and things, and then they have like the building, they have classes there. So there are a few
Uh-huh.
different places that do things like that in the area. But yeah, but you could definitely do online. They even do like the paint and sip classes that they host online, or like Class Pop is a place where I know I've seen they've got like the virtual art classes that you can do from home.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a great idea. And what's cool about that is you can you can teach live classes, but you also could teach like, a video modules or something as well that are like
Yeah.
pre-recorded is
Yeah.
sometimes a thing that people need too. So, and then people work at their own pace through the classes and like rewatch
Uh-huh.
the videos. Or sometimes like you'll teach live and they'll record it and then it's saved for later and people can view it
Yeah.
later. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that would be neat because then you can just kind of set up a space in your home and then teach from there,
Mhm.
kind of like a Bob Ross-esque.
Yes. All right. There you go.
Love it. You'll be the new Bob Ross.
Yeah.
My mom, I remember growing up, she would paint with Bob Ross. My brother actually, ironically, he just likes to watch Bob Ross. He finds it very soothing. So he'll just like
It is very
take
soothing.
get some Chinese takeout and like sit and watch Bob Ross paint and he's just like,
Yep.
hey, it's just a good vibe.
One one of my favorite Halloween costumes I saw one year was a couple, and the guy was Bob Ross, so he had a big wig
Yeah.
and a palette and a paintbrush, and then his wife was a happy little tree, and she had branches in her hair and had a
Oh,
little squirrel
that's
in
amazing.
her stomach, so she was a happy little tree. So
Oh, that's so
love Bob Ross.
sweet. That's a
Yeah,
really good couples costume. I love
yeah,
it.
it was
Yeah.
great.
He was all about those trees.
Yeah,
That's wonderful. All right. Well,
yeah.
I think that sounds like a beautiful goal, a good like time frame as well. And then you had mentioned that possibly you would be able to revive the Halloween show and perform it next
I'm
year. So
hoping
I think
so.
that would
We'll
be
see.
great too to kind of see, if you're
Yeah.
able to do that next year. Um,
Have you seen the Castlewood Singers?
I have not.
I went and I saw them this weekend,
Okay.
and it was a fun group. It was one of those where I was just like, okay, if I decided to join another choir, that might be a really good one to do because
Oh,
it was
nice.
fun,
Yeah.
and it was big. Like I think there were about 44 people in it,
Okay.
and very good. They were all very good, and
Nice.
but kind of at the level where I would feel comfortable. Like I'm
Okay.
like, okay, I
Yeah.
can do that if I wanted, but it's a little bit
Nice. Yeah, to
different
just
than I
kind of
want to
keep
do yet.
challenging yourself in new ways and sing
Mhm.
some different material and yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
love it.
So
Learn some new harmonies. Yeah, ensemble groups are one just like awesome for you to be part of. Like they've done all these interesting studies. Like one, they found that when you sing as part of a choir, your hearts actually sync up and beat in time together. Like everyone's
interesting.
hearts beat at the same time, which I feel like is kind of magic. I'm like,
I
what?
sure feel like that with the sisters in
Right.
song that I sing with.
Yeah.
There's just such a connection. It's
Hmm.
so wonderful. And then, of course, our audience is different all the time because some of them are very
Yes.
low functioning and some are high functioning. But
Yeah.
this weekend was so great because there was this one woman she was just ecstatic listening to us. She was so
Oh.
happy. And in the middle of the concert, she said, "This is better than Broadway."
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's amazing. You were such a
Yeah.
blessing to her.
It was so sweet. I was just like, well, it's certainly better seats and cheaper, but
Yes.
but she was just loving it as if she was
Oh.
at a Broadway show. She
You
was
don't
just
have to fight the crowds, smaller
yeah,
audience. You're closer up. You can see
yeah.
everybody. Good
So
energy.
yeah. So we always rehearse before we go out. So we have like a
Yeah,
little
okay.
small rehearsal. We just go over a few of our songs and then we go
Sure.
out. And so I always go over my solo in the rehearsal to see
Okay.
whether or not I have the high G or not.
Got
And
it.
so this week at the rehearsal, I tried for the high G and
Yeah.
I had no note up there. So afterwards, I was like, okay, I guess it's not the G today. Well, then we got to the performance, and as
Yeah.
I was singing, I felt better. Like I felt
Yeah.
like, no, I have
It
it. And
opened
so I
up.
went
Yeah.
for the high G and it worked. And so
Nice.
that was really fun.
Oh,
That was
I love it.
so
I think too with singing in the morning, sometimes it takes a while for our bodies
I
just to
have
get
it at
fully
home.
warmed up.
No, I had it at home, and then when I went to rehearsal, I didn't have it, and I was like, oh.
Oh,
But then when I was
isn't
singing in
that
front of everybody, I
crazy?
was like, okay, I got it now. So whatever.
Aw, yeah. And you were like, I feel like it's there. That's amazing,
Mhm.
though, that you trusted your body and you
Yeah,
listened to it and you worked with it. That's
yeah,
pretty neat.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I got
I mean,
this.
I've had times where, I went for something I was like, oop, that did not work out as I had
Yeah,
hoped, and
yeah,
we just keep going. And
yeah,
you go, well, that's where it is. Um,
yeah.
so that's part of having your body be your instrument.
Yeah.
So
One,
sounds like you
so
handled it beautifully.
one time years ago, I was singing with a professional gospel choir, and
Yeah.
I was singing a solo, and
Hmm.
at the very end, I had this high note, and so I went for the high
Yes.
note, and nothing came out, and
Oh,
so I just hit it again, and there it
yeah.
was.
Hmm.
And then it was at the San Francisco County Jail, and the prisoners just
Oh,
like they just eat up everything you give them, right? And so
yeah.
they're cheering and everything. And so after the performance, we were walking away. My director said to me, "Don't ever do that again." And I said, "But I just went to hit the note and nothing was there." And he says, "That's not what I'm talking about. Don't cross your eyes." And so apparently when I missed the note, then I
You were
crossed
like,
my
"Ah."
eyes and didn't hit the
Yeah, you
note.
made a
And then I
face.
hit it for real, and that's why everybody was going crazy because I
Ah.
crossed my eyes.
You made a face. You gave yourself away.
Don't
Oh,
ever
that's
do
funny.
that again.
Well, they probably wouldn't have known that it was supposed to be different if you didn't make a
Yeah.
face.
I always loved singing at the jails and prisons because the guys
Oh,
were just they were so
yeah.
they just were so grateful and just
Yeah.
enjoyed every note we sang for them. They just
Right.
loved it. So that was really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, because they, probably don't have a whole lot of, joy in those
It's
spaces,
miserable. It's
and
horrible.
to feel connection and community and something uplifting like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's one thing that I've always thought, like, music is something that's so healing and soothing. So like, if I watch a TV show or something where there's, stuff in prison, I'm like, I feel like I'd just be singing all the time. Like that's how I would survive it. I would just have to make music
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
just like cuz it's a balm to the soul. So,
It is.
yeah.
It's just transformative. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I had a student. She was a virtual student because she lived in Texas, but she ended up going to college and joining a group that would go perform at. There was a prison that was close to the college, and she said that was her favorite place that they went and performed. She joined a college like choir group, and she said that was her favorite place to go perform. She said they just
Yeah.
were so warm and welcoming and so involved and loved the music they did, would sing along, and she said it was just beautiful to go there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's I feel like most people wouldn't just automatically think like, oh, this would be my favorite place to go. But I know my dad was, when I was in high school, he was part of a men's ministry group that they went into prisons, and would like do music or do like board games with them, like like different things, like lead a little tiny Bible study as part of whatever they went in and did. But I know he always really enjoyed that too. Just like,
Yeah.
yeah, giving back in that way, but also just like I think having, people who are so wanting to connect with you too, like it was a blessing to him,
Yeah. Or
not
just, yeah,
just for
singing.
them. Yeah.
Singing for somebody who needs to be sung to is
Yeah.
just it blesses you more than it does
Yeah.
that person,
Hmm.
when you can tell that you've really touched them. And especially,
Yeah.
the guys in the jails and the prisons, it's such an incredibly miserable existence.
Hmm.
And it feels like you give them this few minutes of
Hmm.
actual joy, this few
Yeah.
minutes of escape from,
Right.
that. And so,
And
yeah.
feeling like I am a human, Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
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 I mean, because they
Hard to
can't
get
have very
subjugated.
much, like, it's, yeah, it's a lot of the things we take for granted, like having music at our fingertips, they don't have that.
Hmm.
You know, they don't have a cell phone where they can just like play some Spotify, you know?
Uh-huh. Yes.
So, or like a
So,
record player in the corner. So,
yeah, so if your
yeah.
place is ready for me to come in person on Sunday, I can do
Yeah.
it on Sunday. If not,
Okay.
I'd rather do it
We
on
can meet like
Monday
a little bit later in the week. Yeah.
because my
But
sisters come on the weekends and it's hard for me to sing when she's here, you
oh
know?
yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure, no problem at all. Yeah, it's nice for your focus and also just for the environment to let her have some peace too.
yeah.
When we're practicing and not always making the prettiest noises either.
That's good.
Yeah,
I hate for
totally.
people to hear me
I
practice.
know. I mean, it basically is like the space is comfortable, like it's
Mhm.
insulated, it's got the HVAC and everything, so they're painting today and tomorrow. So I'm hopeful that it should be like we should be able to be in there by Sunday. And my husband was like, well, even if not, we'll just like clear out some boxes on the first floor and like make a corner space that we could do some in-person lessons. But I think it should be like, because it really is now just like decorating is really the thing, like getting all the music equipment moved in there and decorating it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's pretty much there at this point. We're gonna
Excellent.
do like a space theme. I think it's gonna be cool. Like a big wall that's like a space mural. And then put like
Okay.
clouds in the ceiling that help with the sound dampening.
Huh?
And then put like LED lights that look like flashing lightning in them. It could be. I thought
Cool.
it'd be fun. It's actually really inexpensive to do, but it helps with the sound a lot. So I was
Cool.
like, I think this would be a good decor choice. So
Sounds
so it
fun.
should be fun. I also just love space. I like follow NASA on Instagram and see all their, beautiful pictures. So, yeah, I think I was like affordability wise and also just like a fun vibe. I thought it would be
Hmm.
be cool because my husband was like, "What should we do like to decorate it?" Because right now it's going to be like a white box, and then the sound reflects. So we had to find something to help with sound absorption. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's just like the finishing touches now. So I'm very hopeful that you can come Sunday in person. Alrighty, so have you sung already today? And
Good.
is your voice pretty warmed up?
Yeah, pretty warmed up.
Great. And then song wise, what have you been working on here in this last week or so?
Um, I've mostly just been singing the You'll Never Walk Alone
Great.
and
Okay.
um and I Want to Be Evil, the one that I did for Halloween,
Ah,
and then I think I sang you that Irving Berlin song, You'd Be Surprised.
yes.
Yeah, so I've just kind
Nice.
of been doing those things, just
Yeah.
trying to keep things active and in my mind so I don't forget anything.
Right.
So
I love that too because you have a good variety with
yeah,
these three pieces. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, those are, I mean, you've got some good variety there. So it sounds like with the You'll Never Walk Alone, you're feeling pretty good with it because like Friday you were able to do with your performance and your solo get to the high note and that was good. So that's good to hear. With I Want to Be
Breathing was
Evil, I know that we had worked on that quite a bit leading up to, in October. How is that? It's a little more like charactery and jazzy and fun. Like a little more acting to it. So how are you feeling about
the
that kind of character voice and the jazzy quality and the acting for I Want to Be Evil? Like, are you feeling like that's kept
that one
progressing?
I'm feeling really comfortable with. The You'd
Awesome.
Be Surprised,
Yeah.
um kind of do like I do kind of a I don't even know the right kind of accent, but like kind of a Bronxy or New Yorky accent,
Oh, okay,
and,
nice.
um so I could use help with that
Yeah, kind of fine tuning the character.
because I just kind of did it in my own head and I'm doing it and I don't really know how to do that accent very well.
Yeah, I love
So
it. Yeah, like a Roxy Hart kind of style.
yes,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love it. Oh, how fun. So it's more it sounds like you've kind of got the song learned, the melodies, the rhythms,
Mhm,
the patterns, and it's more of
mhm,
fleshing out the character, being able to kind of transform into that character is more what we're working on now.
mhm.
Um
Yeah, so
so
I think I have the feel of it and the expressions, but I think that the accent could probably use some real
Yeah,
help.
absolutely. Great. Okay, so um, I would love to hear that.
Mhm.
Could I hear just kind of how you normally practice it and approach it first,
Okay.
and then we can go from there. But that'll just give me an idea of what you've been doing with it, how you approach it on your own, what's going well, what we can fine
Okay.
tune and tweak. So I'd love
And
to
you,
just hear a little bit of it, or the
okay,
whole
so just
thing.
like do
You're
the
open.
first verse or
Yeah, yeah. If you want to just start with a chunk of the song, we could do that,
okay.
and then just kind of we can reflect on how that goes and kind of what's going well, what we want to work on from there.
Okay.
So you already sharing a little bit helps me, but that way I can hear it and get my own
Okay.
ideas about it too. Yeah.
Okay.
So just kind of
Good.
show me where it's at, and we'll figure
Okay.
out what to do next.
All right. Johnny was bashful and shy. Nobody understood why. Mary loved him. All the other girls passed him by. Everyone wanted to know how she could pick such a beau with a twinkle in her eye. She gave this reply. He's not so good at a dance, but when you get him alone, you'd be surprised. He isn't much at a dance, but then when he takes you home, you'd be surprised. At a party or at a ball, I'd have to admit he's nothing at all, but in an easy chair, you'd be surprised. And then it's
Nice.
Mary continued to praise Johnny's remarkable ways to the ladies, and you know advertising pays. Now Johnny's never alone. He has the busiest phone almost every other day. A new girl will say, not so good in the house, but on a bench in the park. You'd be surprised. He isn't good in the light, but when he gets in the dark, you'd be surprised. I know he looks so small and so weary, but you don't know the half of it, dearie. He looks as old as an Eskimo, but there's fire inside. He doesn't say very much, but when he moves in to speak, you'd be surprised. He's not so good at the start, but by the end of the week, you'd be surprised. On a streetcar or on a train, you'd think he was born without any brains, but in a taxi cab, oh boy, you'd be surprised. Really?
Good. So I'm taking notes as you go.
Uh-huh.
So let me think about a couple things how I want to approach those. That way I won't forget anything. All right. So okay. Alrighty. Okay, so one of the great things about this song is that it has so much variety. That's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I think is so special and fun about this piece. Um,
Mm-hmm.
is all of those changes and dramatic elements that it enables you to do. I almost feel like it's almost like there's like a narrator and a character, like a
Yes.
storyteller and a character. Like you get to be the
Yes.
storyteller sometimes, and then you get to be the character at other
Yeah,
times
so
and
I want
kind
to
of
sing it
embody them.
really straight when I'm the narrator, and then go into a heavy
Yeah.
character voice and stay in the character voice. And as you
Hmm.
could tell, um, whatever, um, accent
That's
because I don't really know it. I was just making it up.
okay. Um, so one of the things I noticed that you're doing to add contrast is when you go into the character voice, you get a little more nasality with the
Hmm.
character and it gets a little more in your nose. which I think
Hmm.
is a fun choice for that. That's great. It reminds me a little bit about there's a it reminds me a little bit of the song 100 Easy Ways to Lose a Man. Where she's like, all right, ladies, I'm gonna teach you how to lose a man. But then she like goes into these examples of like scenes, and then she plays like herself in the character of the man that you're on a date with that you want to
Oh,
get rid of.
fun.
So she goes from like the teacher to these little vignettes, which is really fun. But it's a similar kind of style to what this one is, where she's like teacher mode, and then she goes into
Uh-huh.
acting out these little vignette scenes. And this is kind of the same, where you go from this storyteller into these little moments where you get to play the character. And I think a lot of it's going to be the attitude of the character.
Uh-huh.
And so I think you're already kind of coming across pretty well there. Do you have any like character inspirations, people that you can sort of embody or think of and channel? Like, if you think of like a Fran Drescher in The Nanny kind of a thing, or
Hmm.
like you mentioned, Roxy,
Or
or like
um,
Adelaide and Guys and Dolls
Marissa,
or something.
yeah, Adelaide, I love that. Or Marissa Tomei, kind of
Yeah.
from like um, ugh, what is it? My Cousin Vinny. I don't know if
Sure.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my favorite. That's
Absolutely.
one of my
Yeah.
favorite
So
movies,
I
and
think
I
that
just
is
love
always
that.
helpful to have someone you can kind of think of them and channel
Hmm.
that energy a little bit more. Um, so kind of having that in mind, and knowing that exaggerated, very charactery. It's exaggerated for you, but there are actually people who are like from Long Island who really
Oh
talk like
yes,
that.
a friend transferred me she sent me a voicemail from a friend of hers,
Yeah.
um, and and it sounds like a total character voice, but it's
Hmm.
actually the way she talks. That was her.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. I had a student a couple years back who she was from New York, and she did not have the accent, but she has family who are on Long Island, and she was like, oh, they have like legitimately that super strong accent. Um,
Yeah, and
which I,
Marissa
I totally
Tomei.
understand, because I have relatives up in Minnesota who, like my Aunt Paula, she does not think she has an accent, but she talks like, oh, sure, oh, yeah, don't you
Yes.
know, you betcha, you know?
Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
have family in Alabama on my dad's side who are, who, talk with that low, slow drawl. Hey, y'all, we're gonna have chicken dumplings for dinner. That's a big old truck outside, So it's such a contrast, and so
Yeah,
it's a legitimate thing,
yeah,
but it feels like, because you're not from there, it feels like a totally different kind of character.
yeah. And
So yeah.
Marissa Tomei, apparently she had an agent who told her she would never get booked anywhere if she didn't lose that accent.
Oh, and then she's like, "Well, I can use it."
Yeah.
That's so funny. Who is it? Sofia Vergara, like talks about how like sometimes people will be like, "Oh, like you have to get rid of your accent." But then she's like, "But then I meet other actors who are like." Hispanic American who don't have the accent, and they're constantly
Mhm.
being told like, why don't you have an accent? You need to have the accent to get roles. And so she's like, psh, just do
Yeah.
who you are. You'll figure it out.
You.
So yeah, it's kind of funny. Or like Reese Witherspoon worked so hard to get rid of her Southern accent, and then
Uh-huh.
her first like humongous role that got her super famous was Sweet Home Alabama, where she had to figure out her voice again. I mean, she was in stuff before that, but I feel like that's when she like really blew up, and she like jokes about how she had to like work with a coach to get her accent back for the movie. So just kind of funny. Yeah. So one thing I think that's helpful is just taking those lines and speaking them and practicing them. So if you think of like, these characters that inspire you, like, in Miss Congeniality, before she before she goes through her transformation for the pageant to
Mhm.
go undercover, she's like, I'm walking here,
Uh-huh.
right? And she like slams her hands on the taxi or whatever. So she actually talks like that, and she like, orders Chinese food on the phone and stuff, and like
Uh-huh.
has that accent. And they're like, we got to mellow that out. You're going to this undercover job. They can't know who you are. So if you have those characters that just kind of make you think of things, and then just practice speaking those lines. So, what is one section where you go into that character voice that we can just like practice speaking a few of the lines?
Um, he he isn't much in a crowd, but when you get him alone, you'd be surprised. He is good at a dance, but then when he takes you home, you'd be surprised. So how would you say that?
Yeah, great. Okay, good. So like, one line that obviously you say a lot of times is that you'd be surprised, right?
You'd be
So
surprised.
you're kind of doing this like you'd, you're getting that nasality. You'd be surprised, right? So tell me,
Right.
what are some of the sounds that change? One thing is the nasality,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, so
Are
what
you
are
recording
other
this?
sounds that you notice are different? Like you'd be surprised to you'd be surprised.
Okay. And are you recording this, or do I need to take notes?
Um, am I recording it? Oh, I am. Yeah. Okay. So
Okay, good.
it
Good.
automatically
Okay.
started when I joined.
Great.
So yes, it is
Okay.
recording. So then I can send you a link to it. Yeah, absolutely.
So
But you can take
on that
notes because
line, it
that's
would just be
awesome.
you'd be surprised. Prized?
Yeah,
Pri-
so one thing that I noticed is you drop that final R sound, like water, we do
Water.
water, or
Uh-huh.
surprised. Those final R sounds at the end of words or at
Oh,
the end of syllables,
uh-huh.
water, like
Uh-huh. Surprise.
surprised. So the
Surprise.
prized, we do the R because it's at the
Uh-huh.
beginning of the
The-
syllable. But if
Okay.
an R is
Sure.
at the end of a syllable or the end of a word, it's going to be more like an So like
Su
water, surprised. Um,
surprised. Okay.
yesterday, right? So day. We don't really do that R sound when it's at the final sound
Mm-hmm.
of the syllable or the word.
And
Another thing is in words like dog or talk, when you have that ah sound. Um, it's going to be a little more like exaggerated, like dog. Like you do like a W kind of sound there. So
dog.
like twalk.
Mm.
Don't talk to me, right? So you do this sort of like morphed vowel there instead of that pure like ah
Mhm.
sound. So like Johnny, Johnny, right? If I
Uh-huh.
did like
Yawn.
Johnny was bashful and shy, Johnny, 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 you kind of do this like wuh sound before
Mhm.
that. And you also make it more forward and nasally and bright. Um, Another thing is for the th sounds, like there, the voiced ths, they're gonna be more like a t or a d, so they'll do like a dare. Um, it's like over there, right? So over there would be like over
So
there.
so
So
at a party, how would you say party?
potty,
Pa pa what's
yeah.
the
So
vowel sound?
paw, right? We
Pa,
do paw or
party.
t.
And then a
So
D.
you're gonna do
Plot.
more like a pwa,
Plotty. Plot.
pwatty. Yeah.
Plot.
Pwatty.
At a
Yeah.
plot. And is at a party
At
instead of at
pwatty at. Yeah, the T would be a little less crisp,
at
probably, and
at a
more of a
party at a
D.
party
Yeah, and
at a
it's going to be
party or at
highly
a party.
nasalized. Usually a little bit tighter lips, like tightness in your lips, and like long can be kind of like lawn almost. They also do this weird thing. Like I know we take out ours, but they add ours to certain words, like idea, like good
Idea.
idea. They say like idea.
Idea. Mm-hmm.
What an idea! Like they add the R there at the end. Idea. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
idea. I had an idea.
One of the lines is
So,
he's not so good in the house, but when you get to the but on a bench in the park,
mhm.
but he's
You could even kind of drop that H at the start, like He's not.
He's not. Okay. He's
Yeah, and
not.
I don't know that we need the T there either. He's
He's
not so good in the house. In the
he's
house.
not so
You could do
he's
like
not
duh
so good
there.
in the house.
He's not so good in the house. In the
He's not
house. The house.
not
I do the H there just to make that word clear.
good in the
He's
house.
not so good in the house. But in the park.
On a bench in the park.
But on
Okay.
a bench in the park. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it is funky. They do like some other word swaps too, as well, but like some things you hear a lot are like ka, like
Hmm.
park the car, or like mother, store, um, coffee, twalk, dog,
Oh, coffee.
um,
Yeah.
hmm and then like man, they'll say like man, man, like it's sort of like it's this like weird diphthong that happens, or like map can be more like a and me the and me the map, and it comes out almost like a meap kind of a thing, which is kind of funky. mm, then could be more like then, or those does, the duh. um Soda, they say soda instead. They add the R there. Grab a soda. Yeah, kind of a funny thing. Um, Instead of saying like you're in line, they say they're online. Or like they they don't say turn off the lights. They say shut the lights,
Shut the
which doesn't
lights.
make any sense to me.
Yeah, in Canada they say close the lights.
Ah,
Shut
interesting.
the lights.
Hmm.
Shut the lights would be the same
Yeah.
kind of thing. Shut the lights.
If they talk about regular pies, they're talking about pizza.
Oh,
Yeah. Long Island, if they say that, it almost sounds like Long Guy Land, like Long Island, Long Island. Like they do the G, like a hard G there. So yeah. Um, Margot Robbie's character in Wolf of Wall Street, she did a lot of vocal coaching for that role.
okay.
And so like watching, like you could pull up clips of her in Wolf of Wall Street. She's like the wife of the main guy,
Hmm.
and had to learn that dialect. So that would be, you could watch clips of her talking in that. One of the things she said in an interview is she said her coach told her to pretend she had really long fingernails and then talk like she just got a manicure and her nails are wet. And she was
Yeah,
like, all of a sudden I got it. And I just like did like this. And she said it became part of the character to do like with her nails.
that's funny.
I'm walking with my friends on Long Island on Saturday. you know? So yeah, that maybe that'll help you too. You can try like you've got the
Yeah,
long wet nails.
yeah, I'll do that, and I'll look up some YouTube videos too. It's
Yeah, yeah.
good.
So one thing that helps me when I'm working on an accent or a dialect that's a challenge
Hmm.
is I'll go through and I'll just like rewrite the phrases with the phonetic
Hmm.
changes. So
Hmm.
like, if I had the pock, I'll do like pa dash k, pock, pock, like pa uck,
Hmm.
and then I have to remember like nasally with it, pock, pock, right? Um, so like so that may be something to do, to go through and rewrite the words
Okay.
phonetically so you have
Hmm.
a visual, if those visuals help you. um,
Yeah,
if
that
you feel
will.
like that would be helpful.
Yeah, that
I
will.
do have some students who are like, oh, that's so confusing and overwhelming when I see that on the page. But if that would be
Oh,
helpful to you, then
that's helpful to me.
try that, like writing it out
Yeah.
phonetically. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'd love to have you try, let's sing through a couple of those sections
Okay.
where it's the character voice.
Hmm.
So I really want you to feel like with the nasality, like this palate comes down in the back.
So what
That's going
comes
to
down?
be
Oh, the
so
palate.
like in You'll Never Walk Alone, for instance, it's very open, right? For this, with the nasality, we're actually going to drop that palate. And that way, we're closing off some of the airflow here and we're redirecting that air up into the sinuses, and that air is going to come through your sinuses instead. Yeah. So that's one thing that's going to help is feeling like instead of like this, people talk about a reverse megaphone and a megaphone shape. And so you're going to think about more closed in the back and that megaphone shape where you open more in the front.
Okay.
And that's going to help with the nasality. You can also think about lifting more towards the front. So we've got this like high soft palate and this lower hard palate that's immovable. There's like this little spot, a notch where they connect. Think of kind of lifting into that. And it's going to feel kind of like tight behind your nose.
Uh-huh.
So if you try like a yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of helps to find that feeling of kind of like tight right in here. Try lifting your cheeks with it too and kind of scrunching up your nose. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if we kind of over exaggerate that and then you try like Johnny was bashful and shy, and you have like that nasality, and we can kind of you'll probably feel like a chipmunk, but you can kind of feel like you exaggerated a little bit here starting out. Yeah. So let's go to that first chunk where you are the character.
Okay, well the Johnny was bashful and shy is the narrator.
Right, that's the storyteller, so that'll be different. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the character comes in with he he's not so good at a dance. Oh no, wait. Not so good.
I don't know.
Not so good in the crowd, but when you get him alone, you'd be surprised. Is the first one.
Yeah, so that he's not so good in a crowd.
He's not so good.
Really
Good.
play up the diphthongs, like really chewy.
How do you say good?
Good.
Good. Good. He's
Yeah.
not he's not so good in the
It almost
crowd.
feels pouty, a little
Huh?
pouty.
Pouty.
Like make the character a little more pouty. He's not so good in a crowd.
He's not so good in a crowd.
Yeah, I think that helps. If you think kind of like
He's
she's
not so good in
pouty.
a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get him alone, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Surprised?
Yeah.
Surprised?
You'd be surprised. Surprised. Think more surprised.
Surprised.
Oi. Like oi almost. Surprised.
Surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again.
Like surprised. Almost like surprised. Almost with a little more height.
Surprised. Surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's a fun one, isn't it? Good. So try singing that line.
Mm-hmm. He's not so good in a crowd, but when you get him alone, you'd be surprised.
There we go. Yes. Yes. Do it again. I want you to reinforce it.
He's not so good in a crowd, but when you get him alone, you'd be surprised.
Yes. You feel how chewy it is?
Uh-huh.
You'd be surprised. It's a lot of movement in the mouth. Yeah, very chewy.
Surprised.
Mm-hmm.
He's not so good at a dance, but then when he takes you home, you'll be surprised. Surprised. Okay.
Yeah. I know. It feels really funny, doesn't it? Like, when he takes you home, home. Give me a little more H there. When he takes you home. Yeah.
Home.
Yeah, so when you do like go from like he to home, really exaggerate those lip shape changes. Yeah, can you try that phrase again?
When he takes you home.
But then you kind of went British because you went home.
Home.
Home. Keep forward and nasal.
He's not so good at a dance, but then when he takes you home, home.
Yeah, the tongue wants to pull back, and you're wanting to open that palate. So try going ew. Try to place the O in that E space, that E shape.
You'll,
Ew, ew.
you'll, for you'll
Yeah.
be surprised.
So
You'll,
yeah, so like on home, you're wanting to
mm,
go home, home,
uh-huh,
and you're wanting the tongue to pull back and this to
uh-huh.
open. So I want you to go heel and
Oh,
place
for
the O
home.
more forward. Yeah, so you'll feel the tongue is more forward. It's a little more closed through the mouth here.
Yum,
Heom,
yum, yum,
heom. Now try
yum,
meom and use the nasality.
yum,
Meom,
yum,
meom. Yeah. Now
yum.
try you because you got
You,
you before that. So keep
uh-huh.
you can use the e there. You home and
You,
don't let the shape change really.
okay.
The lips will change,
You,
but the inside keep the same.
you,
You home. Yeah.
you, you home. No,
It was
you
better though.
home. I know, but I start instantly to go to the Cockney.
It's a habit. Yep,
Uh-huh.
it's a habit.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have to practice that. You,
You,
yo,
you home.
you
You,
home.
you home.
Yes, that's much better. Yeah.
You,
So that'll be something you have to practice, and you'll have
okay.
to
Uh-huh.
combat that other muscle memory, right?
Uh-huh.
When he
Yeah.
takes you home, right? You're gonna have to think, I have to keep that um use the e and like the a and the like when that's a vowel is more forward, e is more forward, so we have to keep that tongue more forward. So if you try like na 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 na, that'll kind of show you the shape you need. Try that.
Mm-hmm.
And then try when he takes you home. Try to
When he
keep your
takes you
mouth in the same
home.
shape. Yeah, exactly.
When
There you
he
go.
takes you home.
Yeah, much
You,
better.
you'd be surprised.
Yeah, try that. Nya, 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 nya.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that'll
You'd
help you find the
be
shape.
surprised.
hmm
Huh?
And then you'll find the shape with that na na na, and then you try to keep the inside more shaped like that, and then
Okay.
just change your lip shape for the words that you're saying.
Yeah. You'd
Yeah,
be surprised.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was
Okay.
it. That's better.
All right.
Exactly. Yes. So it's just going to take some reworking because it's
Uh-huh.
habit. It's an
Yeah.
old habit, and now we have to reframe that habit.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But
Well,
you
that's
can get
cool.
it. I mean, we've worked so much on, shaping differently already,
Uh-huh.
for other things, right? Like for
Mm-hmm.
You'll Never
Yeah.
Walk Alone, it's
Mm-hmm.
exactly the opposite of this, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So that's that reverse megaphone where it's very open and
Mm-hmm.
lifted and like a big cave in the back.
Mm-hmm.
We want that really open, heady, resonant space.
Yes. And
Here,
on British because
we're closing. Yes, it's British. It's
uh-huh.
a British feel. Yes.
Yeah.
We're closing off this resonant space and purposefully resonating more in the sinus cavity. So you're going to feel
Mm-hmm.
it more in these like cheekbones and through the sinuses. You're going to feel like a tingling more around your lips. We're using a different part of your anatomy to resonate
Uh-huh.
into, and it's giving us a very different sound. So we're vibrating the same pitches here, right? But
Uh-huh.
then this shape has to be really different. The
Uh-huh.
tongue is going to be right now, it's kind of like your worst enemy because it's wanting to go bloop and pull back when you get to like
Uh-huh.
O and like ooh, ah, it's wanting to yank back. But we have to go ooh, e, ah, oh. Regardless of the vowel, I have to keep that tongue really forward. So it's almost like if you think of French mixed vowels where they're shaping like an O, they'll do like E and oo at the same time. So they'll shape like an oo and then do E. Or they'll
Oh.
go an O with an A, for instance. So I shape O, A. But then in my mouth, I say the A. So they have mixed vowels, is what they call them. And that's almost what you have to do here. So it's where you'll shape like home, but then you're going to think more of an E shape with the tongue. So like I do home, home. So I do like the E in my mouth, E. And so we have to kind of combine that feeling when he takes you home. And so I have to think of kind of that mixed vowel kind of a feel there,
Okay.
which
Cool.
is very counterintuitive because we're like, oh, ooh, ah, e, a, right? Like we have these pure vowels. We don't have mixed vowels in English, and so
Uh-huh.
it's just very odd. But it would be a very normal thing if you were a native French speaker. You'd be used to
Uh-huh.
using those all the time in everyday
Uh-huh.
conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All
it's
right.
it's very
Now, we're-
similar to that feel.
We've run way past the time, so I don't want to keep you if you have
We
another
chit
lesson.
chatted a little at the beginning, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think this is very fun. I love it.
well,
So the
this will be
character
great.
voice, those lines especially, are where I want you to focus this week. Um,
Okay.
Try writing out for yourself phonetically
Yeah.
what kind of makes sense to you visually, so you can have those
Mhm.
visuals. Practice speaking the lines first. Practice singing on the nya 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 nyas through the character lines, and then try singing with the words with that accent. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you feel
Great.
yourself the nasality stop, if you feel it pop into a more like you'll never walk alone feel, then
Hmm.
reassess and be like, nyeh, nyeh, get back into that nasality because that's essential. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All
Awesome.
right. Thank you
So
so much.
fun, right?
Yes, it'll be great.
You just
It'll
get
be
to
really
practice
helpful.
making crazy sounds this week.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Super
All right.
fun.
Thank
Let me
you.
know if you need anything. If you want to like record yourself singing it and send it to me, I can give you feedback. So
Okay.
awesome work.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right, Jolyn. Have a good rest of
Bye.
your night, and I'll see you soon. Bye
Okay. Bye
bye.
bye.